Hi, I'm Linda McHenry. Today's video has been provided at the request of a number of people who ask me, gee, Linda, how do I know if my password is strong enough or whether I need a VPN? Because I get these questions a lot when I'm teaching insurance continuing education seminars for my students, in the courses where we talk about technology and how it affects the insurance industry, and also when I'm doing presentations to writers and we're talking about marketing and how to remain safe online. So I'm going to share with you my perspective on things like passwords and password managers and virtual private networks and multi-factor authentication. And I'm also going to share with you some resources because as a professional writer, it's very important that I get my resources right and I'm using legitimate ones. And so I'm going to share that with you next. So hopefully some of this information will be helpful to you and answer any questions that you might have about keeping yourself safe online. One of the best things you can do for yourself is to conduct research to see which password managers and virtual private networks and antivirus software, which of those are going to work for you, because what works for me may not work for you. And it's very easy to go online and look at reviews, and that's something I highly recommend. Again, all the research that I do, I will never use a source unless I can verify it with at least 3 to 5 other sources. So on your screen, you can see companies like PC Magazine, Tech Radar, Tom's Guide. There's a bunch of them where you can go online. They're U.S. companies. They don't sell antivirus software or VPNs or password managers. They're in the business of reviewing them and providing support services. And I'm sure that while their ads perhaps are supported by some of these companies, they're not actually providing them. So when I'm doing, let's say I want to research best antivirus software, I'm not going to read the review posted by Norton or McAfee or Kaspersky. Why? Because they provide that software and obviously their reviews are going to be biased. So do keep in mind that when you're doing your research, to use companies that aren't invested in the product that they're selling. Talking about antivirus software, I think everybody needs to have it. Everyone should have it on all their devices, not just your computer or your laptop, but on your smartphone, on your tablet, on any device that allows you to download the software. And again, you may want just basic antivirus software for one device. You may want it for multiple devices. You may want to include a virtual private network or a password manager on it. Personally, I'm of the belief that I want different types of software to handle certain things. So for example, I have a separate VPN subscription and a separate password manager and separate antivirus software. You may want one that does all three. So again, look at the reviews and see what works best for you. But you absolutely need this antivirus software to keep you safe. And they do real-time scans. They're running in the background. If they find something, they'll quarantine it. They send you messages. Do they try to upsell you all the time? Yeah. But again, I think it's the absolute best thing you can do. So antivirus software needs to be on all your devices all the time. Our biggest vulnerability when we're on the internet has to do with our passwords and the access to our accounts. Cybersecurity experts say that the 3 most vulnerable characteristics we exhibit are the fact that we use our passwords on multiple devices or in multiple accounts, I should say. We have weak passwords, or we work remotely. So bad actors are looking for that. They're targeting people that they know work from home, or if they're just out there trolling and they know you work from home, it's like, aha, here's someone who's vulnerable. And if you're using a password on multiple accounts, if they get into your one account, they're going to get into your others. That happened with Sony a number of years ago, when there was the Sony hack and their movies were released. They got into someone's LinkedIn account, and whoever that executive was had the same password on their LinkedIn account and their Sony business account. So you don't want to fall into that. You also want to make sure that you're using a strong password. On your screen are some tips about what your password needs to look like. Years ago, they used to tell you, oh, if it's 8 characters or longer, you're all set. Now they're recommending a minimum of 16 or 20. The fellow who just redid my website, refreshed my website, says that his default is 50 characters. Now, not every website is going to allow you to use that, but that's what he's doing. You don't want to use information that people can easily guess, because your first login credential on any site is something that you know, and if you know it, other people can guess it, especially if you've told someone about it. So you don't want to use the name of your favorite sports team, or your pets' names, or your grandkids' names, or your street address, or the last four of your phone number, or the anniversary of when you met your spouse. Okay, those are the kinds of things that are very, very easy to guess, especially if you have them on your social media account, like your favorite sports teams or your favorite books, or somebody knows that you're a big fan of, I don't know, a movie star. That kind of stuff is really easy to guess. Multi-factor authentication is something you absolutely need to have if you're not going to use a password manager, which I'll talk about in a moment. Because as I said, when you're logging into an account, you're using information that you know. And if you know it, other people may know it. So you want a second method of identification that other people don't know. And so that can be something that you have, or it can be something that you are. So something that you have is your phone. You can receive a text on your phone. You can download an authenticator app to your phone, to which a code can be sent, or they periodically update. So somebody tries to get into your account and they don't have your phone, they can't do it. Happened to me last week. Got a message from my password manager that someone tried to log in. They guessed my username, but they didn't have my phone. So they couldn't get the second method of verification before they even entered the password. So those are the kinds of things that you want to do. Something you are is a biometric. Your fingerprint, a retina scan, a thumbprint, a handprint, okay, depending upon whether it's your smartphone or whether it's at work. A biometric is something that is physically you. And these types of identification make your account much more secure. Again, especially if you're going to create your own little code for remembering the passwords that you have and you're not going to use a password manager. And I've heard people say, and I did some research on it, what is better? What's stronger and more effective? A strong password or a biometric? You know, because if somebody knocks you out, they can hold the phone in front of your face. Well, the chances of that happening, all right, are just as slim as someone getting into your account with a 16-digit password. 6 to 1, half a dozen of another. But if you want to further reduce the likelihood that someone's going to get into your accounts, I would say use a password manager, and especially if you're using the same password on multiple accounts. Biggest no-no you could ever do. Because again, weak passwords and passwords used on multiple accounts are the biggest factor in bad guys getting into accounts. So what a password manager does, again, it's sort of like the antivirus software. They can do a lot, or they can do one thing. Depending upon which one you get, they can obviously manage your passwords. They can also provide you with an encrypted vault if you want to put files in it. They can save your credit card information as well. So if you want to put all your credit card numbers and stuff in there, you can. I tend to like, as I said, separate pieces of software for different things. This is what I did when I got my password manager, and I resisted it for years. Okay, best thing I ever did. When I got my password manager, I opened it up on the internet, and of course you can get extensions in your browsers as well. So if you want to have it in Firefox or Chrome or Edge, you can. I can't do it on DuckDuckGo. Their security doesn't do it, and I don't know about the other ones, but I know Firefox. I think Safari you can download them too, as well. So you either open your browser extension, or you open the app rather, on the web, and you go to each of the accounts that you want to verify that your password is strong enough, and you want to put it in your password manager. So when you enter the account information into your password manager, it's going to give you a rating and let you know whether it's a strong or a weak password. And if it's also going to let you know if it's a duplicated password. You have the option to allow the password manager to create a strong password for you. And again, typically they're 12 to 16 to 20 digits long. So you have them do that, and you change the password on your online account. Now, what I do is I copy the existing one in the notes section, because sometimes when you go to an account, it doesn't like the fact that the special character you want to use is, I don't know, an exclamation point. Maybe it will only take the @ symbol and asterisk and a few others. So sometimes you have to play around with it because each site is different. Some sites won't take a password more than 8 or 12. So you might have to modify the password, but you can create a new secure password and then you never have to remember it. Because once all your passwords are in there and you log out of your password manager, when you want to go to the site, all you have to do is open up your password manager and it'll take you to it and it'll log you in. So again, find what works best for you. There is a little bit of a learning curve, but it is well worth it. And the final thing I want to talk about is virtual private network. Okay, virtual private network is a way to encrypt the data that you send when you're on the internet. So I typically use my VPN subscription when I'm traveling for business and I'm in a hotel and I'm on their Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi is not secure. Pretty much anyone's Wi-Fi other than your own that you know the security on isn't secure. Not when you go to a friend's house, not when you're out driving in your car. And you're just on the internet. All right, you're not protected. So the VPN encrypts your data, meaning it's encoded. Nobody can see it. And it camouflages who you are and where you are. So each device has an internet protocol, an IP address, and it shows a phony one. All right, it disguises the one you have. And it also indicates that you're in a location that you're not. So if you were in Boston, it may say that you are in LA, or that you're in Chicago, or that you're in Missoula, Montana, or that you're in Paris, France, depending upon the VPN company that you use. I have found that if I'm out traveling for business and I want to go on my bank's website and I have a VPN, they won't let me in, all right, because they think I'm a bad guy trying to disguise who I am. And if you're using a VPN, it does tend to slow down the bandwidth. So your computer doesn't work as quickly, but at least it works safely. So VPNs, I think, are really important. My antivirus software has a VPN. It's not as strong as the subscription service. So if I'm out on vacation and I'm walking around and I'll occasionally going to use my phone to go online, I'll use the VPN on my antivirus software on my phone. Otherwise, I use the VPN. So those are the tips that I have to share with you. If you have any questions, or if you want more information, or if I can help you with more resources, feel free to reach out to me on my website at lindamchenry.com. My membership community, I do provide to my members content on my website that isn't available in my blog, or that isn't available when I teach or make presentations. So again, feel free to visit me there, enroll as a member, and you'll have access to additional information other than just these YouTube videos. I hope that you found this information helpful.